Good day, my name is Panagiotis Chrysostomidis and we welcome you to our ALUMILCAL Tips and Tricks webinars. The webinars are organized by Alumil Academy in cooperation with the ALUMILCAL department of Alumil. In the last episode, we covered the constructions with series S0700. Today, we will see how we can construct quick and easy curtain walls in ALUMILCAL. Behind the scenes, colleagues Vasilis Kerestegis and Christos Karanikolas are ready to answer your questions. During the presentation, you can ask your questions by clicking at the questions and answers icon at the bottom of the screen. You can then type your question in the window that opens up. Okay, so let's now see how we can construct our curtain walls in ALUMILCAL quickly and easily. To make our job easier, it is always useful to set up some preferences before we start. Preferences for curtain walls are a bit different to preferences for opening and sliding systems. So let's take a look. We go to Job, Project Preferences and System Preferences. We find the series we're interested in, we double click, and we now are ready to choose our preferences. Let's start with a mullion. Choose whatever is necessary. Then we move on to the transom. Again, we choose all that is required. In case that we want our left and right mullions to be different than the one that we have chosen, we can simply click here and choose another mullion. Or we can have them the same. The same goes for transoms. If we want our head and seal transom to be different to the transom that we have chosen, we can simply click another profile here. Or we can have them the same. Let's now choose the connectors. And then we are ready to move on to miscellaneous, where we will find some more options for making our job easier and faster. We save this as project preference and we close. We are now ready to start designing our construction. We click at new position, we enter the installation height, and we choose our series from the favorites. We click OK, and now we have to enter the number of fields in width. It will be 10 in width and 6 in height. Our total width is 10 meters. And now we need to enter the partial widths of our fields. Let's do the same for the height. And at this point, we have finished entering our geometric specifications. Looking at our architectural design, we see that we have some slabs. We can choose to insert the slabs in our drawing if we want to. We simply go to slabs and give it a number. We call it slab number 1 and place it at this position. We do the same for a second slab. And then again for a third one. We click OK and we see where our slabs are positioned according to our curtain wall. With this command here, set FFL, which is finished floor level, we can choose to give an offset to our finished floor level. And this will move relative to the curtain wall that we have designed. Let's see how that is going to happen. And here it is. We're now ready to move on to the next step. The next step is to choose the thickness of the glass that we are going to use. We choose this glass 28 millimeters. Now, normally AlumilCAL would be asking us to determine certain profiles and connectors, etc., etc. The thing is that we are not asked to do that because we had already set these as preferences. However, there are still some things that we must do. One of these things is to set the pin roller support. Click the command and we say that at this reference and at this position we need to enter this kind of support. Moving on, at our middle slab we need to enter this. Finally, at the top transom we need to use this support. As you see, AlumilCAL has many supports available, and we must always choose the one that is designated for our construction. If we want to give extensions to our profiles, we can easily do that with this command. Profile extensions is opening up this window here. Inner profiles are the mullions. Outer profiles are the pressure plates and the caps. In this case, let's say that we need to add extensions to all of them. So we do that and click OK. We zoom in and we see our support and our extension are in place. The next thing that we must do is to determine the Mulligan splices. Mulligan splices are essential because the bar lengths of the profiles that we are going to use are not enough to cover our whole height. You can see here that our height is 6,800. This mullion comes in 7-meter profiles. This is okay, we do not need to splice that. But this one, this needs to be spliced. Okay, let's create a new splice and place it at this position according to our finish floor level. Click OK. And we see that we need to do this with the cover plate as well. And we are finished. But we are finished only for one mullion. If we want, we can do the same with all the mullions by clicking at this button. All the same. Let us now say a few things about statics. As you know, AlumilCAL can calculate statics for our mullions and transoms. However, in this case, we had already chosen our mullions and transoms before we even started the construction. We cannot know if these are good enough. Now, however, that we have chosen the mullions and we have set the supports and the splices, we can be sure whether these profiles are good or not. If we go to mullions and we scroll to the top, we see that some mullions are marked in red X. This means that these mullions are not good enough according to our wind pressure circumstances that we have determined for our construction. This one, however, the mullion that we have chosen, is good and we do not need to change that. Another good thing about statics analysis is that we can see the statics diagrams. Here we can choose which diagrams we want to see and at which scale. We click OK. We move in and we see the diagrams. Again, according to scale, some may not be so clearly visible, so we need to determine the scale accordingly. We will now choose to remove these diagrams and we will move on to the next step. Next step is to discuss about material packages. Material packages depend on the series that we are using. Let's see what this series has to offer us. Here we see that this series is offering us this water evacuation. We want to place that at this position, yes, so we click OK. Let's say that we also want to place it at this position, and now do not need to place it anymore. I zoom in and I see this M here, this symbol M. This stands for material package, and this is the package that we have inserted. It will be inserted here and up here where we chose it to be inserted. Okay, so before we move on, we see that in our architectural drawing we need to insert some topologies and insertion. In order to do that, we click here, Insertions, and this window opens up and is giving us a few options for inserting the topologies. One very obvious way to create a new insertion is to draw it from scratch. Another way is to import it from another project where we have already used a construction that has this topology that we want to use. The third way that we're going to show now is to import our insertion from the library. This insertion has already been created in the library, and we're now going to simply insert it. We go to the library, we choose this window that we want to insert, and we choose the field where we want it to be inserted. We click Apply, and before we insert it, we can actually change the color, which is good. We click OK. Now we will close this because we do not need to insert any more insertions. And now we see how easily and quickly we have inserted this insertion, this topology. Moving on, we are going to the glazing step. Here we're going to choose our glazing. We have already created some project classes, and we'll now see how AlumilCAL is able to perform statics analysis even for classes. Let's move to the category that we're interested in, the project class. We see here 3 project classes, but they are all marked in red. This means that none of these is adequate for the wind load that we have set. So, important to remember, AlumilCAL can perform statics analysis not only for transoms and mullions, but also for glasses. We will choose one of these classes anyway, because we want to take a look at the warning messages that come up. This is the first warning message about the structural design. Okay, we ignore that and we click yes. We will move on now to the next step, and we will see some interesting things about machinings. As soon as we click it though, we get another warning. Okay, this is a serious matter about the glass. Okay, we choose to overlook that again. And let's go to our machinings. Machinings is a special add-on for AlumilCAL that comes at an extra cost. However, with this add-on, we have the possibility to view the machinings necessary for our profiles in our constructions. For example, for this transom here, we see what needs to be machined. We also see what needs to be machined for the relevant profiles, for the pressure plate and for the cap. Moving a step forward, we can choose to connect our machine, our CNC machine, with AlumilCAL. What are the differences? If you only choose to have the bar drawings, the machining drawings activated in your dongle, then you can get a drawing, an AutoCAD drawing of the machinings that are relevant for your construction. You then take this drawing to your machine and you program it. If you choose to connect your machine with AlumilCAL, then you can export a file that contains all the machinings and you can import it into your machine. You can understand how much time you can save with that. Of course, this comes at an additional cost. So if you're interested, please feel free to contact our AlumilCAL support department. We will give you more details about the possibilities and about the cost. Now we have chosen to finish our construction and we will soon be transferred back to our initial project screen where we can see an overview of our constructions. Here we see again this warning message. It says that one glass does not comply with the requirements. Okay, this is a very serious matter about statics and we see it everywhere because we have chosen the wrong glass. And now we are ready. We have completed our quick and easy curtain wall construction with AlumilCAL. At this point our presentation is over. However, we will stay until we have answered your questions. This presentation has been recorded. A mail with a link will be sent to you where you can watch this recording and register for upcoming events. We are looking forward to having you at our next webinar titled Your Reports in AlumilCAL. Have a nice day.